Hello, this is me, BirrdofdatLife. I'm making a video on the Need for Speed Payback SpeedCross update. It is a paid update, whereas with the previous game, all updates to the game were free. And the only reason why I'm very late into finding this out and whatever was because I didn't really have much ambition or like much really flexibility or how I felt about playing the game after I have completed the story, and it just didn't like make me feel like coming back for more. There is not very much to do after you finish the story. It is kind of very lackluster to some degree. A lot of the gameplay and how it works, it kind of sucks. That not really for like the update, but I don't know. I've been working on a video for a long time now, ever since Need for Speed Payback has ever come out, and I have a very long, lengthy review that's even 3 hours that I'm still working on, that I'm getting all the footage and the material for, to be able to go into and create for this game, so that it is very heavy critical and very well much opening up to the ideas of how boring this game is. But I'll leave that for later. That's something I can make about later and whatever, that I'll eventually get to making. And however, now for a lot of this, with the cars and the SpeedCross update, they only have 2 new goddamn cars. I don't really mean to curse too much, but literally they've only included 2 new cars. The Mini Cooper, as you're seeing here on screen, you cannot change out and have your own car to be able to use within the SpeedCross update. So you are stuck with, throughout the whole entire gameplay of the SpeedCross events and the supposed story that they have for, if you're getting through this really quickly, one after another, like I've been doing in this video, like a good 2 hours worth of content, where you're just using this Mini Cooper. You cannot buy any other SpeedCross cars to use in these events to be able to complete them through. So you are straight up stuck with this Mini Cooper, and throughout it, the mechanic called Rav, or whoever the mechanic dude's name is, I've forgotten. I haven't played the story in a long time, and you only play through the story once, and you just forget about all the characters that you've played through and whatever. Same thing for the lady, and the only 2 characters you really ever play with is Tyler and Mac, and I forgot the other girl's name that does the police rushing and bruising of police and stuff like that. I've forgotten the name. Forgive me about that. I don't remember her name. Maybe it's Alicia. I don't remember. It's something on the lines of that. I don't know. Maybe it's Sarah. I don't remember, but maybe I got that right somewhere in between, but I don't know. I don't really remember. She deals a lot of the stuff. She does a lot of the activities that involve the police pursuits and intelligence gathering and whatever else. Excuse me. So with that, she does a lot of that aspect of the gameplay. Normally, a lot of the characters that you're going to be playing with is, I mean, in the SpeedCross update, all you're playing with is Mac, because that's all Mac does. The Mac is a drifter, and I think he's drifting and off-road, and so they've expanded him out towards doing all 3 into one package. Another very important fact about the SpeedCross update that you should know about is that the SpeedCross cars, or class, that they've introduced is drift, off-road, excuse me. It is the things that they include with this type of class that you're using your car as is drifting, racing, and off-roading. So it's 3 of those classes put into one super car class, essentially. So that's what they're classifying SpeedCross as. Now, when you want to play a particular drift event or a race event, you cannot use the SpeedCross cars. You have to use the cars specific to that class. So it's very restrictive still, and I don't very much see this being changed or anything. because obviously this is an EA title. There's microtransactions in this game, and it's very, very, very like the developers are just doing their own thing and putting content into the game. And I don't think that anything and anybody's voices will change any of that. They probably have a content map for a year for this game, like they did last year for Need for Speed 2015, and are not willing to change or fix any silly bugs and whatever they're trying to do, because literally that's how this game is going. It's essentially it's sort of, to me, on the outskirts of a AAA game, even though you don't play with multiple players. There is multiplayer. It is very toxic. The servers are very laggy in certain parts. So, multiplayer is not fun. I'm also making another video on multiplayer and how that sucks, but that's another video. I'll talk about that later. But you're still doing this single player content. They should be next month, like on a February. Who knows? This is recorded in January, beginning of the year 2018. So we should see maybe some co-op and whatever, and kind of like a multiplayer type aspect, sometime in February, hopefully. I don't know. It's always been speculative. It's always been speculatory, because of the way EA is and the developers. I'm not sure if it's DICE or still Ghost Games. I've even heard recently in the news also that I mean Need for Speed could also be no more. They may not be making another Need for Speed, like whatever they're gonna be making next and whatever. Only because of something being in the news or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the matter was on, but maybe it was just some hype post that wasn't real. I don't know. But if it is true that they're not going to be making another Need for Speed after Payback, after its 1 year of lasting for that long, that very much is going to suck. And legitimately, if I myself was like developing a game like this and whatever, I mean, legitimately, how I feel about Need for Speed is that it's kind of partially, like, it is good for the way the game is and how it feels, and I can enjoy it. But one of the games that I do love about Need for Speed, and the only game I've ever loved, is Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012. I loved how much that had in the game. I think that game could have been supported for about 3 years, roughly, maybe 2 years at the most. Hell, maybe even a year, but it wasn't like, since that was made by Creton Games, it didn't feel like to me as if they just made the game and just dropped it as it is. They actually put DLC into it. There is actually like something good about it. I don't believe, actually, I think there wasn't really any co-op or really any story to Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, but there was at least some like interesting aspects to where you could have a friends game and things like that, that this game obviously doesn't have, and it kind of very much is it was a little bit of a disappointing game. Yes, it's an arcade racer, but that's what Need for Speed is. It's an arcade racing game. You're not supposed to be. Yes, you can have story, that's good, that's a really nice aspect to it, that's an additional plus to it, but unless you don't have like characters and whatever of things like that, it just kind of just maybe falls apart and whatever. Very much of this game, for Need for Speed Payback, is not really fun. It kind of sucks. The top end, best car, the Koenigsegg Regera or whatever. It has a electric transmission that only has one gear. It has no other gears or gearing. Real life, it has 2 gears, but the second gear is only used for overdrive. But in theoretical sense, it only has 1 gear. It's still a combustion engine car, but it has an electrical transmission, so you can put all the power of the engine into like the gearing, and then just boom, have it act like a dragster. It's really cool, but the way it handles in the game is terrible. Um, um, like the very beginning launch of the game, after you complete the story and you've gotten the Regera Condazeg, it's very sucky. Um, the back end and the tail of it is very heavy, and it very much feels like a dragster. And with the SpeedCross update, I feel like it was tweaked, but I can't really tell. Because obviously there's no way to really look at or into the code for any reason or anything like that, so it's not, I can't really confirm or deny anything, but I can tell you very much that the handling of the Regera Koenigsegg is terrible, and that is the #1 card that everyone that wants to have, legitimately. And you think, oh, that's like really cool, we got a Koenigsegg, you know, it's supposed to be really dope, but it's just very lackluster for this game. Like if I wanted to play with a Koenigsegg, you know, I would go and play Forza if I wanted to, Forza Horizon 3, and go, and I mean, they got like 3 Koenigsegg's in their game, and all Need for Speed has ever been able to do in Need for Speed Most Wanted and Payback, all they've been able to do is only have 1 Koenigsegg in their game. Now, I don't know about licensing and who and how and why they only have 1 Koenigsegg in their game, when Forza's been able to natch up 3 of them, maybe roughly 4, but I do know it's at least a minimum of 3. Other things about this SpeedCross and the way the game handles things and cutscenes is very irritating to some degree. Definitely with cutscenes, there's only 1 antagonist, I think it is. I think protagonist is the main character, I believe. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but there's only 1 person that you're trying to reach to the top with and whatever. Also, I'll put in a small spoiler, a little bit of the plot of the main story, as where a lot of the racers are cheating essentially with their ECUs and boosting performance and whatever, and everybody's corrupt and whatever. That's sort of the content about what's going on in the story. Same thing happens here. I don't remember the person's name. Maybe it's Barracuda. I'm not sure if I'm right on that, but Barracuda was cheating for some reason in these SpeedCross events and whatever. Just kind of a little bit gaining the system a tiny bit to some degree. It was just kind of very interesting for how they have it. It wasn't that bad, but Barracuda was kind of interesting. I mean, that was an interesting name. I like that. I have no problem with the name, but I do like it pretty much. One thing that's very interesting about the SpeedCross events is that one way to sort of, I would feel, gain the system almost, is that if you want to be able to gain the system, I would not be racing through and going at max speed through the courses, because I mean, you can, and that's kind of, I think that's what the mentality they want you to expect to do. But I believe that if you kind of pace yourself slowly or medium speed through these courses, you will probably have a better chance of more points. But you could also outlie the points if you're just drifting through everything. So you can choose the option to run through everything very fast, drift through all the events and everything, which I kind of ended up doing, was like not worrying about smashing everything totally. I didn't worry about smashing everything. I worried more about drifting through everything and having a lot of acceleration and speed through a lot of this than actually trying to smash every object. And if I did smash an object, that's cool. I did not like how in some portions they kind of squeeze into tight spaces and whatever. Another factor of the SpeedCross update was that if you kind of are viewing this as I'm talking, you can see that if you were to sort of compare some of this from minute to minute and whatever, a lot of these sections are a little bit repetitive in some sections, where you felt like in the last session that you just played of the track that you had just played again. And it's very not that fun and repetitive. If okay, it's okay, boy, like, you know, like, cool, I'm going through the section, but wait, didn't I just go through that section, you know? And it's just very weird and whatever. So I don't know what's up with that, but I do feel that with some of this, it is definitely repetitive. I don't know if when we get co-op, if they think that this whole SpeedCross thing is going to be interesting and whatever. I don't think SpeedCross is in the multiplayer playlist. I know that they added drifting in that playlist, but for like when you play multiplayer, but that is not fun when you're having to deal with multiplayer because of the situation and the way that cars are being pinged to the servers and how laggy they are. And it's not very fun when you are like, no matter how good your connection is, no matter how well the game is playing and everything, you can be playing at 60 FPS, but the server may be only pinging at a rate of 20 hertz. So the update rate in which you're sending packets and data from you and the game servers and all the other players is very unstable, and it's not that great in general. So I'm gonna be staying like away from drifting on servers or doing anything with multiplayer. I'm just gonna be doing my own thing, but then it's kind of like, where's the point in like kind of playing Need for Speed Payback if you don't get to play with other people? So it kind of sucks. That I think that they should have done is they should have made this update free, because after you finish the so-called campaign and the story of the mission, it's kind of like, what do you do now? Okay, go play SpeedCross events, and it's not very interesting or fun to some degree, and it's just not that fun. So it's just kind of like, you know, save your $8 for this content update, because it's really not fun at all, because it's like, okay, cool, I finished this, and it's just like, okay, like, what's next? And there's not much anything that's different about rest of the other game. This is only like a small like story content to add into the game, and not actually add to the game to where, okay, cool, I can play with other people, that's awesome, that's all I want, instead of actually just being able to play this content. And if anyone has ever played Forza content, especially with the Hot Wheels update, you are not able to access this normal mode through free play. So without you being able to access this through normal play, you're kind of forced with your SpeedCross car with your SpeedCross events, and you can't bring a race car into a SpeedCross event, nor can you bring a drift car into a SpeedCross event, or vice versa. So same thing for off-road. Off-road counts also. Now, I don't understand where off-road comes into this, but I know that there's at least 3 other car classes that they mesh together for this. Maybe it's not the SpeedCross mode, but maybe it's the lady version, like the girl that is the kind of not undercover person, but is very good at getting away from the cops type of person. So maybe that's part of this type of idea that they're kind of meshing together. Maybe it's the runner class. I think it's called the runner class. So maybe they're trying to mesh the runner, the drift, and the racing all together. Maybe it wasn't off-road, I think it was, but it had to have been the runner class and whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, cool, you know, like, that's not that bad, but then again, you're having to pay for this instead of having it be included with your game. I've even heard about, and I've seen online and other stuff like that, that I've even gone through and read into the deluxe edition of this game, where if you are if you have the deluxe edition, you get this stupid update for free, which is kind of very irritating for people to buy the normal base game, and very much so that I've even seen on Twitter before the game was released where oh, if you buy the deluxe edition, then you get this car with special underglow and all this other stuff like that. You get like a Volkswagen GTI and whatever, and it's just like, really? You know, like, what is a silly Volkswagen GTI gonna do for me or something like that, you know? It's kind of like giving you a starter car to go with, but um, like a kind of pre-purchased like bonus and boost in the game. Um, but I feel like that the bonus of that and having the deluxe edition is very, very lackluster. Where, okay, you know, why didn't you just give me a Pagani Huayra at the very beginning, you know? Like, why give me such a very, like, poor bonus reward for buying the deluxe edition that you're playing an extra $30 for, or maybe an extra $20 for? It's kind of irritating in that type of sense, I guess, but it's kind of like, give me some value. Don't just here slap a reward in my face that isn't rewarding long end. Then I'm probably just gonna go and take a car and sell and whatever. So it's very, very, very annoying, and it's very much an EA marketing tactic and whatever. I think it's there to appeal to children, instead of this being a game for people that are serious about racing, that enjoy that type of sport and the thrill. And it's just there to slap people in the face and say, hey, you know, give us an extra $20 and give you no value for it, or something like that. Now, another thing that they've done to the whole start of this game, even through the story even, is where, okay, we're going to limit the amount of cars that you have from the very start of the beginning, so that it is very grindy in the very beginning, so that you can't just, you know, grind out a whole bunch of money and then get the best car at the very end and blast through the whole entire story. They have limited that. Same thing here with you doing the SpeedCross stuff. You can't just have access to the SpeedCross dealership, and you got to be stuck with this very, not really slow, but kind of irritating sounding, annoying Mini Cooper. Now, I am not sure on car sounds, but I'm pretty sure that there could be, to some degree, another car in the game that sounds just like this Mini Cooper. I can't put my thumb on it or my ears on it or whatever it is that I feel like it sounds like, but I would have to go through, buy all the cars once, listen to the rev sounds, maybe upgrade them a little bit, trying to figure out what they sound like and try to feel it out and whatever. But I do feel like that they have just taken the easy route of being able to just, you know, rip out another sound from another car and whatever, especially where all the Lamborghinis, they all more or less sound the same. Instead of them being original, they just more or less kind of sound the same in their tones a little bit. Just either one of the like Lamborghinis is more high pitched and the other one's more deep throated, and they kind of like, okay, wash our hands clean of this Lamborghini mess and we're done. So yeah, it's just very, it's kind of just all just put together, and I don't even know why I even bought the game in the beginning. I did not pay full price for this game. I only paid anywhere, I think I paid like a roughly $45, I think, for the game, and then I put in this $8 DLC thing. I very much see Need for Speed just kind of being watered down over the years that it's being introduced. I do not have faith in Ghost Games. I want Creton Games back again. I want the original genre of arcade racing. I love the aspect of arcade racing. The car models in this game and the previous game are like legitimately the same. There's no theoretical difference. All the cars that they had from the previous game are in this game. All they did was, you know, give us an extra maybe 15 or 20 new cars, but all the cars in the previous game are all back in this game again. I doubt that Need for Speed is even taking the time to model these cars or doing anything to them. But I mean, I've wanted to know, like, I've wanted to, I want to have seen behind the scenes footage or just anything of these developers, you know, embracing and happy about their game. But only thing I've been able to do to come to the conclusion of is that they just want to have Need for Speed be an absolute money-making machine and not kind of, you know, be open about the game and see their creative talents and the people who are behind the game. I mean, I don't want to be able to go into a game, buy it, and then not know anything about it. Another game that I've been playing a lot of is, I mean, Warframe and Destiny. Warframe developers and Digital Extremes is very open. I very much love their content, but I've gotten to the point in Warframe where I've legitimately done and finished a lot of the content in that game, and I'm just waiting for them to put in more content into the game and give me something to grind for and to complete. But for doing stuff in, like, Destiny, I don't feel like the developers are very open. They used to be for Halo, but it's kind of like for Destiny, it's kind of like they've maybe some more or less, I didn't play Destiny 1, but for Destiny 2, it seems like they've fallen off the wrong path and they just need some help and be more open towards their players. That's how I feel, that's my opinion. I like how Warframe does stuff, but for Need for Speed Payback and the developers, Ghost Games, I really feel like Ghost Games doesn't have a direction of Need for Speed and what they want to do with it. I mean, look at Need for Speed Rivals, that was kind of cool, but that just to me felt like a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit remake, and they're just copying each other and just, you mean, like, just reiterating the same freaking crap that they have from the beginning. Like, obviously Rivals and then Need for Speed 2015 are totally completely different games, but for the most part, the aspect of Need for Speed 15 to now, yes, at least you got day and night cycles in Need for Speed Payback, but for 2015, all you had was night, which is, yes, a very interesting, like, it's like, yippee, we finally get some daylight, you know. I mean, like literally, it's just kind of silly, but for me, Need for Speed 2015 did not have, like, there was not any, like, lore, there wasn't any, like, backstory or anything to what they're trying to make, but other people were just like, okay, within a few hours you became a good racer and whatever, and a midnight racer and, like, drifting and all this type of stuff, you know. But I mean, I don't see how that is, but I felt like, I would feel like, to me in Need for Speed 2015, that I feel like it would take like a week to be a best racer really quick with some racing and whatever, but I got the vibes of myself where, okay, maybe it took them a week, you know, to be a good racer or whatever, like several midnights and whatever, and that's fine. But yeah, so that's how I felt about Need for Speed 2015. I mean, I could make a video on Need for Speed 2015. It wouldn't really matter because obviously that game is like, it's gone and done for. I'm at least happy enough that with Need for Speed Payback, the whole entire lifetime of it wasn't all on the console, and at least they released on the same, like, more or less same day of when they released it on all platforms, and it wasn't like Need for Speed 15 where, you know, like, you're waiting like 8 months for it to then be ported onto PC and whatever, and things like that. But very much with this game, Need for Speed Payback, I felt like it's very lackluster. There's no really type of, like, you know, co-op or anything like that I feel like the last game had, where it's like literally copy and paste your code in. It's not that freaking difficult, you know, and it's just kind of like, you know, like, just copy and paste what you've already done before, you know, like, implement the same systems, implement this and that. I mean, you've already done everything else, this and that and the same, just do it again, you know. I mean, if you're so like confident about like copying over your car models into this game, then why don't you just copy and paste a few codes and some UI elements and you're done and you've gotten the multiplayer whatever of that and whatever. But I'm very much afraid that at the end of the year of 2018, that very much so, this game will be dead. They will not be continuing to update it anymore. And what they did in Need for Speed 2015 was they introduced a new car at the time, which was the Nissan GTR 2017 or something like that, I think it was. And they left it with no customizable body panels and everything on it was locked. All you had was 2 or 3 body kits that you had to select from to be able to do anything with, and it sucked. And you were kind of very much locked into and just just the playing with just the body panels, and you couldn't swap out or change them. You could only go for the kits. And as you should know, in this game and for the Ghost games of last year and this year, you cannot customize the body panels or do anything interesting when it's a kit. And it's very, very well, like, it's kind of like disjointed and annoying that sometimes you are like locked into doing certain things and you don't have any freedom sometimes. And sometimes the reasons are like super stupid, or some modeler got super lazy and was like, I don't feel like adjusting this and that for that type of thing, I'm just not gonna just make that be possible or something. Now I understand that the designers and the modelers and the programmers probably aren't like thinking on the same bias and are not like collaborating or anything. I have no idea, but I feel like I can see the flaws and how they're thinking about putting this whole thing together, and that's my type of basis on it. Now, I have no idea on a lot of these things, but that's how I feel about a lot of this stuff, where they're just like, I don't know. Like, I understand that these games, yes, it may take a lot of people. Maybe there could be like 120 people that worked on this game, but like, the actions out of those 120 people, to me, acts as though it took like 5 people to make this, Like, I don't really feel like there's really like that dedication and the value to it as much as other games I've played, and it's just kind of like they just make something and just move on their way with it, and they don't actually like put their heart and soul into it, and they just feel like, okay, I'm gonna spend like 8 hours of my day working on one element of the game, and like there, this and that, and I'm done with it, like for some of this stuff, a lot of these types of things, and what I like to have in some games, I would love to have like like a test zone for some cars where where you could just like have, you could like choose like a track editor to some degree of having like you can make like a simple drag strip or something, have your car in your normal gameplay in the world, and then somewhere else you could just go and like, cool, I can make a freaking drag strip and then have other people maybe play on it, and then be like, let's see whose car's the fastest without having to deal with anything, and just like interestingly actually enjoy racing cars. And that's how you might love some type of stuff. Or you can have some like really cool twists and turns and have some really nice drift tandems. You can do that with some people, but there hasn't been a racing genre that's been able to tackle something like this. And whenever there's been racing games or cars and whatever, like let's say the crew, it felt like there was like 5,000 people that worked on that game, and it felt like 500 people made it and whatever. And it's kind of like when you play something for a long time like I do, where you feel like you put a lot of time into something, there should be value for it, instead of like this devalue of when you do stuff, when you complete something. And it's just that's how I feel. Like the crew had a very long and very annoyingly repetitive story, but it actually, like, the story was very good and interesting, and it was really nice about learning about the 510s and the ink and all that other type of stuff, and that was cool. But it was very repetitive and very locked down and sort of set and everything. And that was good and interesting, but for the most part, I really haven't felt like there's been a racing game out there for myself where I've really felt like I actually have really enjoyed it, and I feel like playing it every single day. Need for Speed Payback, very much so for me. Like, I've pretty much done everything, and like, there's nothing like an end game to it. Yes, there's the roaming racers, but after you beat up all the roaming racers, it's like, then what? Do I get like a golden car or something, you know? Is there some type of car that I unlocked that I don't know about? Do I get the Hensi Venom GT? Do I get the Koenigsegg 1-to-1? Do I get another Koenigsegg Regera, whatever, you know, that I totally hate because it has like a 1-gear handling system and it feels like a dragster? No. And it's just like, you know, like if you want me to open up so many shipments, or you want me to open up like all these types of things or do whatever and whatever, like when I mean whatever, I mean like you're roaming the racers, you're opening up shipments. You can also buy shipments, but you can also earn them by leveling up over 50 every time. And it just, like, another point that I even have too is even for the level of rep has no value or anything in this game. It's just another means of being able to get loot box type things with the shipments that are only have one and one of this. You know, you have a chance to get a type of horn, you have a type of chance to get tire smoke or nitrous color, and a vanity item, and that's what they're calling it and whatever. You have a chance to get cash. You have a chance to get different horn sounds and whatever, and that's per shipment. Even when you get premium shipments, when you finish all of this story, you get 2 premium shipments, and premium shipments only give you, well, the shipments give you 3 things of the vanities and all that type of stuff, and then the premium shipments will give you 1 of 5 things, which is then like cash, whatever else that they give you, like cash, horns, like tire smoke, different colors of that and whatever. One thing that is very difficult on top of all this type of stuff that kind of very much sucks kind of also too is that grinding for money in this game is complete like ass cheeks pretty much, because legitimately for you to be able to get through and complete the story or do anything, and not including the SpeedCross update, but for you to be able to do anything in this game, you legitimately have to hack, because you got to do memory hex editing, because there is literally no consequences for that when you do it, and you can do it to your heart's content and not be banned, and it's really nice. But that also destroys multiplayer. Very much so. I feel like if you're going to play multiplayer, then I very much recommend that you spend 6 hours on not really getting money, but I would say when I make my video on my whole rant and review, I'll include some of the hacking stuff and how that works. Because if anybody does buy the game, I would definitely just 100% recommend just hacking and modifying the hex code of the values to buy all the cars at the very end once you've completed the story, and at least max upgrade and stay ahead of the leveling system, because it will grow on you very fast, and it is very annoying, and it is not that fun. So it just very much sucks like that when you're playing the story. So I mean it just very much sucks like that, and I would even use the speed hack for speeding up UI elements, so that when you're grinding for leveling up your car, you can do it very quickly and not have to sit there forever and ever listening to the annoying spinning of the wheel of trying to upgrade your car just because you want to be able to you know, have a functionable car that is very quick and fast. And I very much don't like the system of how we're upgrading this system, because it's revolved around RNG and like a random part upgrading car. I mean, that is not how I want to be able to upgrade my car. I want to be able to have specific stats and boosts and buffs that aren't totally completely random and can like make or break a car, and is completely different, because when you go on multiplayer, somebody could be using the American part branding of some type of engine part and whatever for their whole entire car, and you could be using the carbon set and somebody else could be using the American set, and there's also no documentation on which one gives this and that type of buffs for carbon, American, or outlaw, and a whole bunch of other ones that there are. I think there's about maybe 5 to 7 different car brands for the parts that you get and you're able to have in your car when you've gotten a full set. And it is very annoying that even on the Need for Speed wiki, that they haven't even classified out which buffs and debuffs that the kind of brands give you and whatever. And to me, this game and this content pack, it sucks. I mean, literally, I wouldn't even buy it. You're not missing out on much, and I definitely feel like the 2 cars that they add into the game and like the car class that they add is very much lackluster. And this is kind of like how I feel, and I have very strong opinion about how I like my racing games, and I want them satisfying enough that, you know, I don't want to have to be like feeling like I want more of my game when they just feel like they have a whole entire content update, when they could just go in and just add it all within a month, but then they wouldn't have enough content to be able to drag it out long enough so that they can make their cash cow last longer than instead of actually putting that content in right away instead of making us wait forever. Same thing with the pain and grief over being able to you know, like be able to have co-op with friends in a single player part of the game. That's really annoying, where you can't be able to have a car that you use and, you know, go with it. So I don't know if this helps anybody. I just felt like legitimately, if you're still listening to this, that literally this game and this SpeedCross update, just don't even worry about buying it. Just ignore it. Literally, if you do want it, and if somebody's is willing to give me one of their save files without them buying the DLC first, I can attempt to and also make a hex file edit that will allow you to enable you having the DLC without having to go and buy it. Because literally this $8 that they want for SpeedCross it should just be a free update like they did last year. The last year free update system is proper. That's how they should be doing it. If you've paid $60 or even $45 and whatever through a third-party site that sells keys, that is the way to go. Don't buy from the origin story or the origin store and whatever. You're just paying way too much for a game that you should pay for a lot less at, and it just very much is very irritating that game developers can't make a good proper racing game, and I am just dying for somebody to make a proper good arcade simulation game that like I would enjoy and love. I've even taken my time and I've even tried to spend a week of my life once of trying to use Unreal Engine to create a car game, but like I don't know what goes into it and how to make it and whatever, so I was just trying to play around with stuff, and so it was a little bit very irritating. I've even gone into and done asset ripping with Need for Speed Payback, and even with the previous game Need for Speed 2015, and very much so that Need for Speed gets away with not modeling the interiors of the cars and having very low poly characters, so that when they are going out and making cutscenes, that they keep the camera far away from the models, so that you can't tell the face of people or whatever it is, and like the fragment detail of the content that they made. And I very much feel like that literally they should just make this game for console. If they wanted to go and do that with the previous game and prevent 8 months of us having this on PC, they should have just made this game just solely on console. Just don't even include the PC people if you're trying to optimize your game for console, because if you don't care about making a racing game for PC that is proper quality, and somebody really enjoys playing your game and really enjoys racing and really enjoys racing and customizing cars and being nitty gritty about all of it, then like seriously, I would love to like make my own racing game and actually have it customizable, do every detail and everything, and not have these restrictions in which Need for Speed has that are so like kind of like, I feel, retarded sometimes, where they just don't put the effort into making, where they just feel like they just want to be lazy about everything, and things like that. So I mean, that's how I feel. I've talked about this now for like about 45 minutes. I don't care about this SpeedCross update. I just want to just protect other people that just are very skeptical about this. Hopefully you should see that through this gameplay. I'm not gonna really edit the gameplay too much. I just want people to see what this gameplay is like. I spent about 2 hours with this gameplay, and I just feel like, just don't play this. Don't buy into this $8 DLC. We'll see how February goes down, or even January. I'm not sure, one of these 2 months. This update was in December, and that was their content update for December. I just don't feel like EA games are even interesting anymore, just because of all the controversy going on with their IPs of Star Wars, Need for Speed, all that type of stuff, and how that's going down, because that can affect the effect of whether or not, if we get another Need for Speed for 2019 or however it's going to be, and things like that. So maybe 2020 will be the next Need for Speed, and they'll improve a lot more stuff, and we won't feel like we're still stuck into 2014 type of games where, you know, like, there is still content that is so lackluster, and these people just feel so lazy. Or hell, maybe it's not even laziness, you know? Maybe it's EA putting so much pressure on the developer, they just don't feel like putting in that effort or something like that, or they're just being rushed or being pushed out like a pig because they're being squeezed by them too tightly. I mean, who knows? Nobody really knows the true story. Maybe they can't voice out over that because they'll lose all stuff from, they'll lose all their like kind of publishing aspects from EA or whatever. But I just feel like a lot of this Need for Speed content just feels like it's being a pig that is just being squeezed so tightly that if they make any sudden move, maybe, then they might just lose everything, and we won't ever have Need for Speed. But I always have loved that Need for Speed has always felt like that gap in which we always get to have that thrill and experience that Fast and Furious movies give us, and it's very interesting sometimes. I very much love Fast and Furious, I very much love Need for Speed, and the video games of Need for Speed have always filled in the gaps of needing to have a Fast and Furious movie, or Fast and Furious video game, kind of. We have kind of gotten that video game aspect out of Fast and Furious to Forza, which is kind of cool, in Turn 10 Studios. I'm not very much a person that really kind of enjoys simulation games. I mean, I'll kind of mess with it, but the handling and the cars is much more serious than it is in Need for Speed, and Need for Speed is normally king when it comes to handling and being arcade and kind of fake with things, and is very nice about that type of stuff. But that's how I feel, and this has been like a good 50 minutes of me just talking about this stupid stuff, and that's how I feel. Just literally just don't buy this, and just buy the base game, play the story, maybe take your time with the story until there's other content that you feel like playing through. But this is legitimately how I feel, and just literally just hack the game. Don't buy shipment packs. Just don't play this game on console. Play it on PC for the hacks, and you won't be hurting multiplayer. And we'll see how this plays out. I definitely feel that this game could be something really good. It's just right now the state it is in is terrible, and I think it needs some help. But unless the developers are there for it, then it's just gonna fail like everything else has from EA, and that's legitimately how I feel. And I don't know, I don't like Need for Speed and the way it goes. I saw the writing on the wall when I was just looking at like things on Reddit and whatever else like that, but I still caved in. I still wanted to have a good experience with Need for Speed, and it just felt like it just bit me in the ass and just didn't really make me feel better about racing and anything like that. It's very much just how it is. Now, I understand that some of these sentences I'm saying and how I feel isn't really making sense, but maybe my expressions and how I feel about things isn't correct. But hopefully this made a little bit of an impact, and somebody maybe understood my points that I'm making. But before I end this recording, I just want to let you know that I'm kind of doing this thing for Boulevard Squad, whatever. They're pretty much a crew that does racing a lot of the time. So I'm on their Discord server, and they're kind of like letting me be like the person that's kind of the speaker for them in the Need for Speed payback aspect, because they want to be able to get into playing Need for Speed Payback, and nobody has really felt like the urge to buy this game, only me. And so I'm just kind of giving them the like undercover detective information about how this game is, because nobody else has the computer or anything else like that to be able to play it totally, maybe, or anything else like that. So I'm just kind of being the lookout and the watchman for them, so that if anybody does actually from the squad wanted to buy this game and know about it, that maybe there can be some information about it, so that it's clear in whether or not people want to be able to actually buy this game from our clan, kind of like the crew and whatever, to actually enjoy this or not. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I'll try to leave the Discord server maybe in the description for Boulevard Squad. They're pretty cool people. Boulevard, the leader, he's pretty cool, and I think the correct name is Boulevard 69, but for the most part I just go with Boulevard Squad pretty much, and that's what I'm gonna call them. They're pretty cool people. It's very interesting. They're kind of a squad that was built up on the idea of playing Need for Speed World. I definitely liked Need for Speed World, but I wasn't like I played it back in the day on my laptop back in the day, but for me playing in this current day and age where playing the offline version doesn't even play well, even on my high-end computer, because of the code in which the game that was made on, for some reason is not compatible with my computer, and there's just a shitload of like tons of like just crazy amount of errors and playing on my computer. So since I'm not able to play Need for Speed World, then maybe I can like have this kind of like look out for other people on Need for Speed Payback for them, so they kind of maybe think it's kind of interesting, or just have some type of information about this game, and whether or not they feel passionate about like wanting to get it or not. So I think I'm pretty much done with this, and hopefully maybe some people have watched up to this point and whatever. So I just don't like this Need for Speed Payback and where it's going. I really want Need for Speed to do really well. I really want this game to do well, but the aspect and the vibe I'm getting off this game, I only can play it for like about 20 minutes. I want to play it for more, but just the way it feels is so like it's not fun, and it's more of a grind, and there's no like end game to what you do after, and there's no like real reward when you do finish the whole entire campaign. It's like they give you like a little message at the end, and they're just like, oh, we hope you thank you for completing the game in this amount of time and whatever, you know, now go get the like anal beads and go fuck yourself, because it's just like, you know, like we'll let you know when we have some updates for you and come back and play, and you know, like be a greedy hog in our game. That's exactly how I felt because of them putting in the shipments and the microtransactions. Now granted, I just got way around that. I found my little wormhole doing the hacks with the money and the currency, which does not hurt and affect the game at all. There should never be microtransactions in this game. Last year, there was no microtransactions. There's no monetization of the game other than just buying the freaking game and having a good time. And these microtransactions for this game are complete bullshit. They just want to make this game a cash cow, and I hate it, and it should never be like that. And I see it as more of a freedom justice type of standpoint, and just people should not people should not have to go through that type of stuff. So that's how I feel and how I go about it in life a little bit maybe. So when you have stuff like this and you have content in games that is restrictive like that, I feel like there should be some type of way of not having to be restricted like that. And that's how I feel, and like that's totally it. I'm super done with this game, and I hope somebody kind of feels kind of interested in what I'm having to say in my opinion, and you know, we can agree on something, have some middle ground, and hopefully one day within the next few years or whenever, there will actually be a car racing game that will actually be awesome or good enough that, you know, that is kind of like nice and people want to play it. I even know that on Android there are some really nice racing games and whatever, and drag race games and whatever, but you know, they're not porting onto the PC or anything like that. They port their games to the Android, and like I've enjoyed those types of games, and you know, I want to see them come to the PC where, you know, like they could get like a bigger voice of them developing a really great game on Android, and you know, it could be really nice and interesting. But for the way the PC platform is, for what it has for its content, I more or less feel like it's very lackluster. You know, like these big greedy companies make something that's, you know, mediocre and good. It could definitely have more potential, but there's more of that like Hollywood aspect to it than more of a mom and pop, and you know, like a small person that actually feels like they can actually, you know, rule the world, and you know, have people that want to love their content in their game, instead of some like crazy company that, you know, is really big and all about the money and cares nothing about the actual like end user and the way they feel about their game. So that's kind of how I feel in the game. I feel like my positive, like, I feel like a lot of my stuff and stuff like that is a little bit negative, but I feel like it's more critical than how it is. But I try to take everything in and try to maybe give a spin on it, or a little bit of fun on it, or something that actually opens up somebody else's eyes to what's going on, instead of, you know, just sugarcoating everything and thinking that everything's gonna be a-okay when it's possibly not, maybe. So that's legitimately how I feel, and I just don't know what else to say and how I feel about this game, because it's not fun, and there's legitimately like no end game. And I think anybody that's watching this, you can just stop watching at this hour after I talk, because for most of this is just me playing through the game, and once I finish the end of the gameplay, I just cut it because there's nothing else really interesting about what you can do. So I very much appreciate anybody that watches this and then has a positive outlook on not really falling into the schemes of the way EA wanted to make a terrible and great game into things, I guess. So maybe leave a comment. I know many people don't even know about this or anything like that, and nobody comments in general. I just feel lonely about certain situations, especially Need for Speed. So I'm very strong about how I feel about some things, and I just feel like I want to have that voice, and people that care about what I do and things like that. So just thank you very much, and I hope everybody has a great day and very much enjoys this kind of outlook on Need for Speed Payback, the game as a whole, and the SpeedCross update.
Word on the street is McAllister is quite fond of off-road. Would explain his performance out of the solar array. Monroe is a great technical driver.
Well, fun's over. The solar array is where we separate the champs from the chaff.
Time to show Barracuda some of that SpeedCross magic. Okay, I can do this. Good stuff right here. Keep it going, Mac. Excuse me, superstar, coming through. Let's do this! Top man! How's it hanging, mate?
Cut the crap, man. Who's paying you to come after me? Whatever it is, I will double it.
You think I need a payoff to enjoy beating you?
Got a question for you.
Yeah.
Back before the Koenigsegg job, you said you wanted to fly your dad's Mustang to the States. What's that about?
That's the car he told me to drive with. Cherry red Ford Mustang 65. Even had the silver rock air freshener dangling from the rearview mirror.
Damn, what happened to it?
He had to pawn it off to keep us fed after the factory closed.
Damn. I hope you get it back one day, buddy.
I will get it back. No ifs about it. Judging by the cars outside of Fortune's Resort Casino, I'd say there's not a lot of fortunes being made inside. Damn, mate. Take it easy.
I ain't your mate, governor. I'm your worst nightmare.
Nah, mate. That'll be my great aunt Cheryl, riding us to school in the back of her rusty Ford.
Keep laughing, Mac. You made a mistake entering SpeedCross. Too late to back out.
What's that supposed to mean?
You'll see.
We're entering Event 4 of the SpeedCross series, and Street Racer McAllister...
You won't be laughing soon enough, buddy.
Okay, mate. You can stop twirling that mustache now. Here we go! Got it! I'm enjoying the hell out of this. Keep the focus, Mac. You're killing it. Yeah, baby. Drift time. Time for the next course. Woo! Bring on the next course.
Here we are, Sean, buddy. The end of your lucky streak.
And yet I keep winning. Must be talent, Piranha.
Come on, man. It's Barracuda. Piranha didn't do too well in the focus groups.
Barracuda might think himself God's gift to SpeedCross, but McAllister is showing us that passion can get you as far as technical skill in this game.
And now, another McAllister classic, coming right up. Everyone loves a show-off.
doing great, Mac. Keep up these killer scores and you'll have a chance in the finals at the Silver Dam.
Barracuda's seeing the same thing. He's done threatening me.
Not good. I'll keep upgrading your build, but Mac, be careful.
Come on. Rav, you know me. I don't do careful.
We're nearing the end of the SpeedCross series, drivers. One more location.
Hello, Sean. Good luck on the Ember Valley track.
You're pretty chill today.
Well, I figured you got no chance to make it to the finals. Does wonders for my blood pressure.
Forget about Barracuda, Mac. Time to ace this track.
Got it!
Yeah, let's do this. Ain't no one like me. Next course coming up.
This course is particularly challenging to Barracuda, who likes it clean and methodical. But that's the beauty of SpeedCross.
All right, Mac. Win this one, and you've got a shot in the finals. Showtime! Got that one. Nice, nice. Got it. Man, I was doing so good. Gotcha. Here comes my favorite part. Keep the focus, Mac. You're killing it. a wrecking ball.
Congratulations on your win, Mac.
What do you want, piranha?
See? Don't care. I want to make peace. Let's meet face to face. We'll wipe the slate clean and start fresh. What do you say?
Uh-huh. And you wouldn't set a trap for me now, would you?
What? Never.
So, I'm here, you're not. It's a trap, is it?
And you walked right into it, buddy. You really thought I'd want to make peace with you?
Of course not. That would take integrity and sportsmanship.
Ugh, whatever. I sent some friends to make sure you won't make it to the finals. See ya.
Is that how you want to win this, Monroe? By taking out the competition?
Only if I need to. This sport needs a true champion on top.
A champion who cheats to protect his spot.
Yeah, sure. It's business. 101, man. Nothing personal.
best SpeedCross driver? Then prove it to me on the track.
Too late, Mac. You're done. Go back to your silly street races and leave SpeedCross for the pros.
That's it. I'm so gonna take you down now. That's what I thought. What do you think you're doing? You're supposed to race.
Mac, where the hell are you? Barracuda's sponsors moved up the Silver Dam event. It's starting now.
The bastard hired some goons to take me out. I'll be there as soon as I ditch them.
Damn. The guy's determined not to let you get near his spot, huh?
I bet I can guess what happened to your client, Rav. Barracuda does not play friendly with the competition. Oh, baby. How you like me now? Damn, that's rough. Oh, that blows. Better watch out. Hey, watch it. Ouch, that had to hurt. Don't wait up. You gotta be kidding me. Is that how you want to win this, Monroe? By taking out the competition?
Only if I need to. This sport needs a true champion on top.
A champion who cheats to protect his spot.
Yeah, sure. It's business 101, man. Nothing personal.
You'll be feeling that tomorrow morning. Come on, mate. If you're really the best SpeedCross driver, then prove it to me on the track.
Too late, Mac. You're done. Go back to your silly street races and leave SpeedCross for the pros.
That's it. I'm so gonna take you down now. Oi, watch it. Oh, baby. Which way you going?
Mac, where the hell are you? Barracuda's sponsors moved up the Silver Dam event. It's starting now.
The bastard hired some goons to take me out. I'll be there as soon as I ditch them.
Damn. This guy's determined not to let you get near his spot, huh?
I bet I can guess what happened to your client, Rav. Barracuda does not play friendly with the competition. drive in peace. Sorry, Brown. See you later, suckers!
God damn it! Fine. I'll destroy you the old-fashioned way.
Godspeed, racers. We're now entering the SpeedCross series.
Hello, Barracuda. Guess we made it in time for the finals.
Doesn't matter. I'm nailing this course. I just posted an all-time track record. You are toast, McAllister.
Right. Better get to work then.
I'm in the final course, and beautiful line through the drift zone. Mathematical perfection, and a record distance on the jump.
Careful. All it takes is one slip-up.
Hitting in your perfect score, Jason Barracuda Monroe skyrockets to the top of the ladder.
Face it, McAllister. You just got Barracuda.
Enjoy the record, Monroe. I'm about to mack it in the face. That sounded a lot cooler in my head. Trip time! right. Time to destroy Monroe's perfect score.
You're in the finals, Mac. Win the next one, and we both make bank.
This is gonna be a tough one. Monroe just posted an all-time track record.
Is that worry I hear?
Nah, bruv, just making sure you know how awesome I am before I crush the top score.
Racers, it's time for the final event in the Fortune Valley SpeedCross series. McAllister is a crowd favorite, but he'll need to beat Barracuda's near-perfect score to even stand a chance. You know who your curator is rooting for.
I'm coming for you, Barracuda. Let's go! No wonder you scored high, Monroe. This track is a breeze.
Plenty of time left to screw up.
record or something.
No, this is not happening. This is not happening.
And boom! New champion!
Near-perfect score to win the Fortune Valley SpeedCross Series.
Raph, guess who just won the Fortune Valley SpeedCross Series?
I knew you could do it. How's Barracuda taking it?
He should be ugly crying into a pint of Rocky Road right about now. Couldn't have done it without my Carfu Master Raph. Thank you.
Mac, the power of SpeedCross was inside you all along.
Shut up.
May I speak to the Fortune Valley SpeedCross champion, please?
Yes, it is I.
Wanted to let you know, the SpeedCross sponsors opened up their special dealership with the cars featured in the series. You can pick up a mini JCW Countryman there, or even an Infiniti Q60 like Monroe drove.
Can't wait to take them for a spin.
Hey, Mac, I tried watching that soap of yours, Weeks of Our Days or something.
You gave my soaps a shot? What did you think?
An absolute waste of my time.
Come on. I grew up watching those. Oh, I used to daydream I'd move to America and become a sexy doctor, driving my sweet Lambo on the way to the ER.
Poor Mac, you're 0 for 3. At least you made it stateside.
I mean, it can